Hey, good afternoon, guys. Welcome to Talkin Sports with Tyler for episode 3. Today, we're going to cover the defense of the Detroit Lions. Yesterday, or in episode 2, we went over the offense. Today, we're going to go over the defense. We'll just hit it really quickly. We've got a few hours until cut day is done. Actually, I've got an hour exactly. So I'll come back with a short video to kind of talk about who's been cut, kind of our thoughts as to where they're going to go as far as practice squad or move on, and go from there. But let's start with the front seven. That's the easiest way to do that. We'll start from right to left. We'll start with Trey Flowers. Man, guy's going to be good. I mean, he may not rack up a ton of sacks, but he could have had quite a few more. He was still a little banged up coming into training camp last year. Trying to get in, acclimated with, the team, being new, finding a place to live, family, all that fun stuff. So this offseason, it's been a struggle with the whole COVID thing. He's probably going to be in for a breakout year. I think he's going to solidify that edge very well, assuming he stays healthy, and people will feed off his love for the game. So next to him, we're going to go with I'm going to put Deshaun Hand there. Basically going to say, he's going to be your D-end DT pretty much wherever he can fit in. The guy has a phenomenal skill set. It's so wide, and I don't think he's hit on any of them yet. So, so we'll touch base with him, I guess, throughout the season and just see how he goes if he can stay healthy for sure. Next to him, Danny Shelton, bringing him in from New England. Obviously knows the system. He had kind of a breakout year himself with New England. He had some sneaky good pass rushing skills, so I think that's going to be kind of fun this year, and we've seen that in camp this year as well. Even going up against Frank Ragnow. Ragnow's a good center. Trust me. He's been here a couple years now, and he's got some skills, and he doesn't get pushed around very easily. So with Shelton doing that, that means we're going to see some strength on out of Danny, and hopefully that can lead to some good things. Now, obviously, he was brought here for some run support. That's his specialty of his game. He's massive. He's got extreme power in his lower body, and he can hold his ground pretty well. So that should be a good addition to the front line. Next to him, Romeo Okwara. I'm going to put him in there. Kind of a blend between Romeo and Jamie Collins, depending on what play or what down it is with Jamie. I think Jamie's going to be all over the field. I really do. Early on, especially. I think, once we start, I'll talk about him a little bit more, but once they start slowly integrating Julian Okwara, I think you're going to see a lot of Jamie Collins, which will be awesome. I'm excited for that because his pass rushing skill is crazy. He's got good coverage when he drops into it, good hands. And he's smart. He knows the defense in and out with his time in New England with Patricia. But back to Romeo, I think Romeo is a very, very, very good team player, if you will. And he's not going to wow you with his stats like a Khalil Mack or a J.J. Watt or T.J. Watt or any of those type of players, Jadeveon Clowney, those guys that are constantly in the backfield. But word on the street through Twitter is my source at this point with the beat writers at the Detroit Lions. He's been in the backfield a lot. He's racked up his sacks in training camp quite high. So this could be a good thing. Romeo's strengths play off of the strengths of others, in my opinion. I think he is a very, very good complementary player, and I think he's going to do very well for this team. We mentioned Julian. We're going to go on the back side of the front seven now. The addition of Reggie Ragland, I think, is going to be a good one as well because he plays inside and outside. He can rush the passer. He's got good hands. He can drop in coverage. Maybe not as good as Jamie. He might be better in some small zone. I'm not quite sure there. I haven't dug into Reggie very in depth at this point, but I think Reggie's going to be a good one. He brings a good veteran presence. With his time with Buffalo and Kansas City last year. Obviously he won the Super Bowl with them. And he's already made mention that there's a lot of similarities between this year's Lions and last year's Kansas City team. Now we know from last year the Lions went toe to toe with Kansas City. Barring it was early. It was definitely early, but I think they were the only team in the league that held Mahomes without a touchdown. That's saying a lot. And that's when we were rolling. We were playing pretty well. And so, I think a lot can be said from Reggie's comments there. And the teammates absolutely love him. You could see that when they mobbed him when he intercepted Stafford in practice. So, so the ball skills are there as well. Let's look at the middle linebackers. At least I think the starters will be Jelani Tavai. I think he's got the slight edge over Jared Davis at this point, but Davis will be right next to him. Davis has a lot to prove. He's added a ton of muscle. I don't remember the number of pounds that he had added of just pure muscle, but he worked out with Christian Jones. I think Christian on the edge is going to be another good staple there. Obviously, we're paying him some money, so he's got to show and he's got to play. But both of those guys have actually worked on their bodies to get them in peak physical form, and I think we'll get some good. Christian Jones is a good pass rusher. The same thing with Jared Davis. I think Jared's his timing on his delayed blitzes is fantastic, like perfection. The only reason I'm going to mark it down is the fact that he doesn't get those sacks all the time. So, he's got to hit home on those sacks, and it'll do wonders for his game. The worst thing about Jared, I can't say enough about his physical presence in on the defense, but his coverage skills, he needs to work on those as well. Jelani Tavai, he's growing. He's going to be a monster. I think he's got that that Samoan attitude, which I love the Samoan players. I'm glad we've got quite a few of them with Vaitai and Pacini and Shelton as well. And I think just the culture that they bring is hardworking, strong, doesn't matter, I'm going to do it type attitude. So this is good. It's going to be a lot of fun. Some other linebackers there. You've got Kabinda, who's probably going to focus more on fullback position at this point, but he's kind of one of those in between players that can play all three phases for sure, which I think is a good thing. And then you've let's go back to the secondary, anyways, and we'll just lump them all as DBs at this point. But bringing in Trufant, smart, savvy vet, I think he's going to do just fine. Had kind of a down year in Atlanta. He still put up pretty good numbers, but it's hard to do that. Slay had what we're going to consider last year as a down year, but nobody was throwing his way, so when you have that much production out of a DB, especially a number one cornerback, you're not going to get that attention. And so you got to hit home on the times that you do, and I think Trufant can do that. I think he can pick this defense up quickly. I think he'll be a good addition. Holdover from last year, Amari Aruarie, I can say his name, I think is going to be a dark horse in this DB room. I think with his length, his size, his leverage, his speed, triggering that with his smart. I think he could be a steal of the draft from last year. He was a fifth-round pick and was projected late first, early second, and then some thirds by some. But, obviously he slipped for reasons. But, this guy, he's worked his tail off to get to where he is. And I think, Unlin said that he seems like a savvy vet. He's only had however many games under his belt. He got 2 picks in those games, got some valuable experience, and I think he'll do just fine. I think he's going to be your day one starter opposite of Trufant while they work Okudah in. Speaking of Okudah, being from Michigan, it's tough to root for Ohio State. It really is. But this guy, his ball skills, his smarts, his ability to play man-to-man is like no other. There's been a long list of DBs that have come out of Ohio State that have made it very, very, very well in the NFL, and I think his game translates very well. He's smooth, he's calm, he's collected, he doesn't get rattled very easily like you see some of these DBs. Now, he's had some troubles. He's had troubles, and that's to be expected for a cornerback in the NFL. It takes a little while. Sometimes it's hard to just jump in. It takes a little bit, but we've seen flashes in camp. So we've got not Trufant, but Coleman. Justin Coleman was phenomenal the first half of last year. I think he has ups and downs, but he was phenomenal, and I think his game has brought in a different level, or has brought a different level to this DB room as well. The punches. I love when they punch that ball out. So I think he'll be very good in the slot. One guy to watch out for, in my opinion, is Mike Ford. I think he's had a sneaky good camp. Most of the beat writers will probably agree or disagree. I don't know. I mean, I'm not there physically, but from what I see, he's done very well. A couple videos I saw online on DetroitLions.com is that he picked off a few passes too. So I think he'll be just fine. And then, Virgin, he's more of a special teams guy. D. Virgin is. And then the safeties, you bring in Duron Harmon from New England. He knows the system. I think he's going to start opposite Tracy Walker, who is I keep saying these guys are going to have breakout years, but going into his third year, he's a good player. He's long, he's strong, he's a kind of a ball hawk. He can play that in the box type safety, and that's kind of what I like about this team this year is that they've got 3 to 4 in the box safeties. Between Harmon, I think that Walker is definitely a good in the box safety. Curse, he can come up and play that small linebacker, and you still have Killebrew back there. So, assuming Killebrew makes this team. If he does, I've read jokingly on Twitter that he could be the new Don Milbach, is that he's gone through so many coaching changes and he's still yet to be on our team. So a lot of these guys, man, I think, there's a lot of unknowns just because there's so many new faces on the defense. We've had an overhaul, but yet you've overhauled these okay players with better than okay players, in my opinion, and I think you're going to see the defense take a big step up. Now, there'll be some pains. I mean, obviously, we've got a new DC in Corey Unlin. I think allowing him to have control, I'm not going to say full control, because it is Matty P that we're talking about, but I think 90% control is much better than 0% and having to do what you need to do. Obviously, you can see that with the offense with Bevel, that trust was there. Now I see that Corey Unlin he's going to have that trust there, and he's going to allow him to do what he needs to do. So it'll be cool to see how they do these wrinkles with the jacks and the lefts and the rights, the strong, the weaks, the stunts. What are they going to do with these delayed blitzes? Because every linebacker we have can blitz. They do so well. And the nice thing is that these corners know how to blitz too, so that's going to be kind of a fun wrinkle. It'll be interesting to see if Agnew kind of goes on the defensive side. Doubt it. I think you're going to see him in the 2 phases. I think you're going to see him both your starter in punt and kick return. I don't see that being relinquished whatsoever. He's too good to not have back there. Jason Huntley could probably, I'm going into special teams kind of bleeding this in, but Jason Huntley, he could potentially be there if he's still on the team. I've heard that he could be a potential cap casualty or a camp casualty, sorry. But he can be placed on, practice squad if he clears waivers and things like that. But Don Muehlbach, I don't see anybody beating that guy out until, Grim Reaper takes him. But good old Don, he'll be back there snapping the ball to Matt Prater. Matt Prater will be kicking him through the uprights, no problem this year. From what I've heard, he's had his best camp in quite some time, in the punter battle, man, between Fox and Sippius, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but, it's kind of fun to watch how, because they don't get live game speed, nobody's coming at them, how they're doing the different reps and different techniques and things like that for these punters to figure out what they need to do. But new special teams coach, Brandon Coombs, I think that's how you say his last name. Players love him. I mean, he's young, he's aggressive, and I think this will be a good special teams unit. We've got a lot of good special teams players with gunners between Curse, and then you add Ragland, who's probably played special teams in there. Christian Jones can play special teams. You got Killebrew and D. Virgin and Mike Ford, and Aruarie can probably play there. They're probably going to throw Kuda out there. So these guys are. I mean, Killebrew is fantastic on special teams. I mean, he goes down there and he's on every tackle. But so this defense could be much better. I'm not going to say they're going to be top 10, top 15 even, but even if you get into the top 20, you're doing much better than where you were. So, but anyways, I'm not going to belabor this anymore. We're running up on about 15 minutes. I want to come back in about a half hour and discuss some of the cuts. Won't be a very long video, but if I missed anybody that you wanted to hear about, let me know in the comments below. Please like and subscribe to this page. I love to keep doing this, and if I know people are liking it and subscribing, I've got an audience to at least go to, and I'm not sitting here talking to myself, make myself look better. But you guys will make me look better for sure. But anyways, I just wanted to bring this to you. Thank you again for listening. Again, if you'd like to have me cover any topic, shoot me an email on the link below. And also there on the other videos, check out volume 1 or episode 1 and episode 2 if you have not checked them out yet. Please do so. But I'll check back in about 30 minutes. We'll do the cuts, and then we'll go from there. But God bless and take care. Thank you.